So today we have Lisa Buffo, who is the founder and CEO of the Cannabis Marketing Association, a membership-based organization focused on the educational and best practices for the industry's communication professionals. CMA's mission is to bring a positive perception to cannabis and its consumers around the world. Lisa has worked in legal cannabis since 2014 and is also the host of the Party Like a Marketer podcast and founder of the Cannabis Marketing Summit, which is returning this June. So welcome. We're super excited to have you here on EzHire Hangouts.
Thank you, Juliana. I'm excited to be here.
So let's get started. Let's do something really fun. This is one thing that we've been doing this season is starting off with a rapid fire round. You will have 45 seconds on the clock and we'll see how many of these we can get through. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Question number 1. Start. Did Shakespeare smoke cannabis?
Yes.
Can marijuana make your eyebrows fall off?
No.
Did George Washington grow hemp?
Yes.
Does marijuana help cure COVID-19?
No.
You're doing so well. We started using cannabis around 8,000 years ago?
No.
You're really good at this. Was cannabis the first product ever sold online?
Yes.
Is cannabis illegal in North Korea?
Yes.
Was the largest cannabis seizure over 10 million pounds?
No. Good. Oh, I appreciate that. That was fun. I like that.
Cool. Awesome. So let's get into some fun questions so that people can know a little bit more about you. If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell?
I would tell her to have confidence in herself and to trust herself and her gut. I think I spent a lot of my early career looking to others more so than I was trusting myself to some degree, that others maybe knew better than me about what was a good next step in my life. So I think having confidence in yourself and really trusting yourself, regardless of your age, and even especially when you're young, to flex that muscle and to trust your gut and intuition. I think particularly, as a founder and in business, it's very easy to get like overly logical and analytical about things, which works sometimes, but not to just discount your own gut and your intuition and really kind of trusting your own inner compass as far as the steps you take.
What would be a tip that you would give a new business owner that's in the cannabis industry?
Do your research. So do your research, do it on the history and the science of the plant. Do it on the history and the regulatory environment of the industry. Do your research on the people you engage with. When you understand that better, you can better understand where you fit in, where your passion might be, and where you can have an impact. And I think new business owners who really get that to some degree, it's obviously a process and it takes time and there isn't a perfect way to do it. But if you show up prepared, I really feel like that gets you 80% of the way there.
Cool. So what kind of mark would you like to leave on this industry?
Yeah, so I'll bring it back to CMA's mission, which you mentioned in the beginning. And our mission is to bring a positive perception to and authentic understanding of cannabis and its consumers around the world. So obviously, founding the Marketing Association, we believe that by empowering the industry's marketing and communications workforce to do their jobs as best as possible, since they are the ones who touch the public, that's how we can move the needle on the stigma. But the stigma isn't just, cannabis is not a drug. It's how do we change it? How do we bring it into that positive space? How do we get it out of the it's not super terrible for you into it's a positive thing. And it does have such great impact on so many people's lives. So being able to change that narrative would be, a mark I definitely want to leave.
So speaking of dinner, if you could have dinner with any 2 people in the cannabis industry or like famous celebrities that are very involved in cannabis, who would those 2 individuals be?
So this is an awesome question. The first one would be Brownie Mary. So her name was Mary Jane, and she was a volunteer at San Francisco General Hospital in the 70s and 80s. But she was an absolute pioneer, and she baked brownies for AIDS patients who were mostly gay men at the time and lobbied for medical use in California. And she was arrested several times. She was in her late 50s the first time she was arrested. Her activism, all of those things combined, I think absolutely make her a legend and an icon. So Brownie Mary. And then the other one I would say would be Jay-Z. I know he just launched his Monogram brand, but it would actually be just to ask if Beyonce could join for dinner and I could talk to her.
Cool. Awesome. So how can people find you online?
Yeah, so you can find me personally on Instagram at Libuff, Libuff, and then on Twitter at Libuff21. You can find CMA at Canna Marketing or thecannabismarketingassociation.com. And happy to chat with you. DM me if you have any questions about the space or marketing. I really love engaging with folks in the industry and who are learning and growing. So yeah, happy to connect. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Just mention you heard me on this podcast so I can know who you are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.